All right, welcome to Too Punk to Be a Podcast. The podcast is not a podcast. This is just my bonus audio for you, the members of the Punk Hardcore Crossover Crib Facebook group. We're back. It's been a little while, as always. Tonight, big, long, probably huge episode. But we're going to bring in our special guest now. He spent most of his life living in a gangsta's paradise, and he is the founding father, Jose Gonzalez.
Hello!
You know why I did that intro, right? You should know by now.
Yeah, first of all, that's a good thing, a good segue to that. Hey, everyone, first of all. Second of all, well, before we get into the episode, I found out early this morning, even though it happened yesterday, but rest in peace to Coolio. Supposedly a heart attack or something. Yeah, it's not a good way to go. There is no good way to go, but,
well, you know.
Super young.
I guess he was, he never thought he'd see 24, so he did okay.
He did really good, but still really young.
Yeah, 59 is actually sadly young, to be honest.
Yeah, very young. A lot of times we take life for granted, but anyhow.
All right, so yeah. So as always, if you haven't joined the group, go join the group. Go to Facebook, find Punk Hardcore Crossover Crib, and you can join us. We're always there. Follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter. And you can always follow us on the podcast player you're listening to, whatever that might be right now. As always, shout out to... So we had this other podcast that retweeted us on Twitter, so I like to acknowledge that shit when it happens. They shared us along, so very nice. This was an interesting one. It is a podcast called Deep Dives from Bumfuck Nowhere.
Oh, wow.
It's called a podcast podcast about convoluted plots. Sounds interesting. I'm going to have to listen to an episode. I didn't get to do it yet, but I will.
Yeah, I'll have to definitely check that plug for sure. Shout out to them for, showing love.
Very kind. So I like to acknowledge those when they happen. Anyway.
Oh, that's awesome.
So tonight, the New York hardcore scene.
Final fucking lead.
A huge, massive episode. This also kind of, as I've mentioned so many times, this also kind of leads to my definition of the word hardcore. Because a lot of people will refer to shit like the Dead Kennedys or stuff like that, Black Flag or something, as hardcore. And to me, it's not. That's just regular punk to me. When I think of hardcore, this kind of shit is what I think of.
Now, yeah.
That's kind of always been my thing. When people say hardcore, I'm like, so Agnostic Front or something. But no, they're like, oh no, like, like the Dead Kennedys. I'm like, Dead Kennedys aren't hardcore. What the fuck are you talking about? But, so I have a different meaning in my head of that.
For sure. Progenitors of hardcore, I would consider Black Flag probably one of the first, if not the first.
Right.
Quote-unquote hardcore band. But what we think of now as hardcore, yeah, this kind of shit is what hardcore is defined by today's standards. So,
as we go, what we're going to do, me and Jose, because Jose's a madman, we are doing each our top 20 albums. So you're about to hear 40 fucking albums. I tried to keep it to 20, y'all. I really did. But Jose, Jose's going to Jose, so we're doing 40.
Hey, I narrowed it down from 60 albums to 20. Don't ask how I did it, but I did it.
I want to ask how the fuck you got to 60.
It's a long story. My collection's big, so...
Yeah, that's what she said.
Exactly. I really had to look into it. I did my homework this time, so yeah.
So like we said, some albums and bands and stuff are going to be the same. It's unavoidable. But the fun in this is we get to see the ranking, so that'll be the way we rank them. Because we rank them both from, to favorite, I guess. I don't want to say least favorite because we love everything, but...
Exactly, yeah. From these are all favorites. These are all...
all favorites.
At least an 8 out of 10, I would say.
It's in the top 20 for a reason, so there you go.
It's in the top 20 for a reason, and mind you, all the listeners out there, whoever you are, wherever you may be, neither Kenny nor myself have shared lists, so Kenny's picks, like my picks to him, and his picks to me will be a surprise. So
always the fun part of this show when we do it. So if you're a fan of hardcore, this is a total celebration of it. The rankings are going to be fun, and if you're not super familiar, then this is a great way to get to know the scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is note number 1 gone. All right.
Yep.
Hear the papers rustling, people. I'm on it. All right. I got notes I can read, kind of, so that's a new one.
Do you want to kick it off first with your number 20, or do you want to go number... I'm going to do number 20.
Well, yeah, I'm counting from number 20 down to the number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. The only way to do it.
So my number 20, I am going to start with some newer kind of stuff. I'd say newer. The album's from 2005. I believe the band is somewhat between old and new. But I'm going to start with Sub-Zero's Suffering of Man.
Ah, that's a great pick.
A bit of a newer album, but I like it. It's kind of the heavier side of hardcore. But this is one, like you said, some of these kind of borderline on metal. My first two definitely do that. That's what I'm going to start with.
I love that pick. That was one I had to narrow down, unfortunately. Did not make my list, but I fucking love Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
That fantastic borderline metal, as with some of the bands that you'll see on this list later on. I recommend their first record, Happiness Without Peace?
Probably, yeah.
96.
I actually picked a later album, but I just kind of like the later one.
Yeah, you picked the later one for sure. Like, you say later, but it's definitely kind of newish, not even that new. Sub-Zero, definitely great pick.
There you
love
go.
That record.
Number 20.
Fantastic. So my number 20 is going to be a band called Killing Time.
Oh, okay.
The first record, Brightside, released in 1989. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people in this New York hardcore scene will probably rank this even higher. But the fact that it's my number 20, it just goes to show you that the stuff that number 1 through 19 is just like, it's all going to be great. So,
right.
Classic record. I mean, before I get into it, I know we just lost, not too long ago, Rick McLaughlin, who was the bass player of this band. So rest in peace to Rick.
Okay.
Very prominent member of this New York hardcore scene. Great bass player. I think he played guitar on this album, Brightside. I don't know if you ever listened to this album.
No, not really. I saw the name.
This is definitely one of those bands and albums that borderlines even on crossover thrash.
Yeah.
Like, very, very New York. Definitely not California sounding.
Right.
You got songs on here like, look at my notes real fast. You got songs on here like Cheap Thrills, the opening track, the title track, Telltale, No More Mr. Nice Guy, My Reason. Little fun fact about this band, they were formerly known as Raw Deal.
Okay.
They put out a demo as Raw Deal, but they had to change their name for legal reasons, so they became Killing Time.
Okay.
And still going today. Yeah, that's my number 20, Killing Time, Brightside, 1989.
Good stuff. All right, my 19 definitely is borderlining metal, probably is metal, and later on they definitely are metal. They get really heavy later, but I'm going with Sworn Enemies, Negative Outlook in 2001.
Hey, yes.
I
love that. I love it.
Again, newer era, and album. And like I said, they get heavier later, but this one starts out as great hardcore.
Yeah.
Sworn Enemy gets heavy as fuck. And I love them.
Again, a band I had to narrow down. I was torn between two albums, Negative Outlook and Integrity Defines Strength.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's just classic. I mean, I love Sworn Enemy. Still going strong today. They definitely get heavier, but
yeah,
I mean, still pretty fucking heavy. My number 19. Now this, you either love or hate this band, but my number 19 is a band called Shelter, and the album is Attaining the Supreme from 1993.
Okay.
Now, why do I say love or hate? Because a lot of people are turned off by the religious, kind of spiritual lyrics.
All right.
Because these guys are Hare Krishnas.
Oh, okay.
And,
interesting.
Yeah, not to get into the topic of religion, but all I'm going to say is that spirituality and religion, two different things. But personally, it doesn't bother me.
Definitely.
This album, this is their third album. For those of you who don't know, Ray Campbell from Youth of Today, the vocalist, the frontman, started this band.
Right.
After Youth of Today broke up, and then John Porcelli from Youth of Today, I think is now in the band. He didn't found this band. He was in another band we'll get into later on. I'll mention it when I get to it. But
Indeed.
Yeah, Shelter, fantastic. A little more on the melodic side. Def punky, still hardcore, but with a more introspective look on things. Beautiful album cover too, Attaining the Supreme, Shelter from 1993.
Very good, very good. All right, 18. So this is kind of the birth of all this in a way, and kind of my definition of all this. Punk with metal, man. You know, that's my thought of what hardcore is.
Yeah.
So I am going with Sheer Terror's Just Can't Hate Enough.
Yeah.
And
classic.
Yeah, it is, and it makes this list for influence, but the vocals keep it at number 18 for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Paul Bearer, man.
Yeah, I know. Y'all can be mad at me for this one. It made the list. I love it. I'm not saying I don't. His voice is kind of weird for me, and I was like, but it's as classic as you can get. It's so fucking important.
This album is metal.
Yeah, it is.
Crazy how doomy it is too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it has so much to do with, punk, death metal, and everybody's been on Sheer Terror,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The grindcore scene and all that.
1990, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no surprise, because my number 18 is also Just Can't Hate Enough by Sheer Terror.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, my number 18 is Sheer Terror, Just Can't Hate Enough.
Okay.
Our first double to everyone. Yeah, Sheer Terror, Just Can't Hate Enough. Love this record. It's doomy. It's fast in some parts, but not really. It's heavy. And unlike Kenny, I fucking love Reverend Paul Bearer's vocal. I love him. Love him.
All right.
I can't say the same thing for a band called 25 to Life. Yeah, those vocals are terrible. But Paul Bearer,
Yeah, well.
love him. Sheer Terror, Just Can't Hate Enough. My number 18.
Wow. All right, well, not only, I knew we'd get some the same. I didn't think we'd hit the same fucking number. That's cool.
Yeah, the same number. Holy shit. Just imagine what's to come.
Well, I know for a fact you have the next album probably, but it ain't going to be this low, so you'll be mad at me for how low this one ends up. But my 17 then is going to be Sick of It All's Blood, Sweat, and No Tears from also 1989.
Oh!
I know, it's too low.
17?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's low, but I love...
That's all right. It's your list. It's your list.
Everything after I just love more. But again, this is as classic as it gets. It definitely is here.
Yeah. So what's your favorite Sick of It All? You got to pick one.
Probably this.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is...
The cover art's classic. It's just such a classic album. It just kind of defines them for me.
Yeah. The stuff they did after is great too. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Just look around.
Yeah.
Just look around. Scratch the surface. Holy shit.
Right.
Built to last. I mean, everything they did is great. But yeah, this one, it's kind of hard to argue.
It's low. I know this was going to be a little shockingly low, but like I said, everything after this I just love so much.
Hey, that's all right.
And I have weird attachments to certain albums, so.
Yeah, for sure. Timing is everything, especially when it comes to music like this. I agree. So my number 17 is a band that I love. We were talking off air before we started the episode about bands that didn't necessarily start off in New York, but made their stride in the New York hardcore scene. So my number 17 is Break Down the Walls by Youth of Today.
Okay.
1980. So Youth of Today started off in Connecticut. That's where they kind of made a name for themselves, but they didn't go big until they started playing, you know, old venues like Lemoore, CBGB, very prominent figures of the New York hardcore scene. They kind of established themselves there. They cemented their legacy as part of that. Again, Ray Cappo, this was his first band before, you know, starting off Shelter. Definitely not like Shelter. Little more on the youth side, straight edge hardcore. Yeah, I mean, Break Down the Walls. It's fantastic. I could have gone with any other album they've done, the first EP, or the next one, We're Not In This Alone, which I actually like too. That one has my favorite song by them, which is No More.
Yeah.
But this album is my favorite thing they've ever done. It's fantastic. From 1986, Youth of Today, Break Down the Walls.
No, I don't have any of them on here, but only because I'm not super familiar.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
there's going to be a lot of bands on your list that I just don't have, and it's because I just wasn't, you know, I don't want to put them on a list just because they're a huge band in the scene. I'm not super familiar with it.
Yeah. But it's definitely one to check out.
I will do. All right. Yeah, they're a huge part of this show for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. My 16, I am going to take some youth in here, though. Bring in the youth. But I'm going with the Reagan Youth. Youth Anthems for the New Order. 1984. This is really their only real album. A bit outside of my definition of hardcore. This is leaning more towards traditional punk of what I would consider, but wanted to highlight this album because it's so influential. It's so early and powerful, and you know, it's Reagan Youth, man.
Yeah, they put out a compilation. Spoiler alert,
Right.
they got booted off this for Sheer Terror. They were on my list, but Sheer Terror had to make it on there, so I unfortunately had to just call them an honorable mention for now. But they have a compilation. If you can't find that album, get their compilation called A Collection of Pop Classics.
Yes, right.
The album cover is kind of controversial because I think it's the band in KKK hoods, or it's not the band. It's just like
they would do that shit on purpose just to piss people off and stuff, and
Yeah.
kind of make that scene. It's real in your face shit, you know.
It's very ironic because they got accused of Nazism, which they weren't because the
Oh, no.
Virgin, rest in peace, was Jewish.
Right.
And, you know, he unfortunately passed away. He's no longer with us.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
talking about the vocalist, right? So, like, I wrote down the story because it was some crazy shit. that he got real bad on heroin, and he dated this chick named I'm gonna try this Tiffany Bresciani. I don't know.
Yep.
But she would prostitute for drugs for them to get them their heroin,
Yes.
and she ended up getting killed by the serial killer Joel Rifkin.
Yep.
And then after Dave found that out, he committed suicide, and that's kind of how that ended.
Yes.
Pretty wild story.
It's a pretty wild story. Yeah, his backstory too. Like his grandparents were Holocaust survivors, and yeah, just I mean, really, really tragic life for him, which ended badly, unfortunately. But hopefully, he's in a better place. I do love your pick though, Reagan Youth. I would call them hardcore, borderline hardcore. They definitely went more, I guess, crossover later on.
Yeah.
But started off a member of the early New York hardcore scene. So
there you go.
Reagan was your number 16, right?
It is my 16.
My number 16 is a band that I fucking hated when I was really young. But over the last year and a half or so, I've grown to love them.
Okay.
At least their early stuff. And this is a band that Kenny and I have talked about millions of times. Do we love them? Do we hate them? Do they suck? Are they cool?
Sublime's not from New York, Jose.
No, not Sublime. I love Sublime now, but it's not them. No, it's Urban Discipline by Biohazard from 1992.
Right.
Okay, so I could have gone with the demo, but I didn't want to be countercultural. I mean, the best thing they ever did was Urban Discipline. It's classic.
Yeah.
It's classic as it gets. I mean, I will say Evan Seinfeld is a piece of shit. Fuck him. But everything else about this band is great. Bobby, the guitar player, is fantastic for what he does. The kind of music he plays, which is hardcore.
Yeah.
Hardcore music. Fantastic. He's got a new band now. He goes by Billy Bio now. And yeah, the guitars, the drums are great on this. This is just like a testosterone-filled New York on an album. Kind of like Nas's Illmatic, where like it paints a picture of you being in the streets of New York. This is what this album is to me.
Yeah.
Very kind of borderline on the metal scene. People call it new metal, but to me it's hardcore.
Right.
Biohazard Urban Discipline from 92 is my number 16 pick. I mean, Punishment. Enough said.
Yeah. I never got into Biohazard. I just never did. They're not going to make my list for sure, but I do understand it. I get it for sure.
Fuck Evan Seinfeld.
Fuck Evan Seinfeld. All right. Off to number 15. So when we did this, this is like the first album I think I went to re-listen to, because I just wanted to start here, I think. And a weird one, but I'm going to go with the Crumbsuckers' Life of Dreams in 1986. This is crossover. This is early crossover. And someday we'll do a crossover episode, but 16 songs, 33 minutes, so much fun. And this one just... The first song, just sit there, just totally sets the pace and kicks your ass from there.
Well, surprise, because this is actually also my number 15.
All right.
Crumbsuckers' Life of Dreams, but I cheated a little bit, only with this one. There's a tie. There's a two-way tie in my number 15. I couldn't leave Crumbsuckers off the list. Along with this band, this is the first thing they ever did. It's an EP from 1982. Started off as a hardcore band, but they went on to become bigger, and they went on to do bigger and better things later on in the world of hip-hop. And my number 15, tied for my number 15, along with Crumbsuckers' Life of Dreams, Pollywog's Stew EP by the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be on there for you, eventually.
Yeah, rest in peace to MCA. Fuck cancer.
Indeed.
A lot of people forget that these guys knew how to play.
They did.
You go back and listen to Sabotage, a lot of those 90s stuff, like the Aglio e Olio EP from the 90s, where they went back to play. Check Your Head, like they went back to playing actual instruments.
Yes.
Instead of just hip hop samples and stuff like that, turntables.
Which they were also brilliant with.
Yeah, these guys were talented musicians. A lot of people seem to forget. This one, the production, I'm not big on production. Like, I don't really give a shit about production, but it's definitely raw. It's organic. Yeah. Beastie Boys, Pollywog Stew. It's classic. That and Crumbsuckers' Life of Dreams are tied under my number 15. So I had to cheat, but with good reason. Everything else is just one album. I promise.
That's all good. I'm going to call that a double anyway.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
So 14 now. I'm going to go with Urban Waste, the self-titled thing. Their discography's a mess, but it's a 1982 8-song EP thing that you're going to find in various forms, basically. But I had to put it on here somehow. I'm kind of pushing what an album is at this point, but If you've been on the group long enough, you've seen me post songs from this thing at least 1,000,000 times because I love it.
Me too. I love every song on this record.
Posted.
Police Brutality.
Yeah, I've posted
Public
Urban Waste
Opinion.
quite a few times.
Yeah, every song on here. Skank, Ignorant, No Hope. I love this album. Had to cross it off my list. It was one of the 60 albums that I had, but I had to boot it out because the rest of the stuff on my list I love to death.
Yeah, totally.
But
totally.
it's a great album.
Yeah.
It's a great album.
This is one of those ones. Again, it's one of those random little albums that I just kind of got attached to, so I can't be without it.
But it's very important. It's very important to this. It cannot be overstated. It's very important to this scene.
Urban Waste.
Urban Waste. Number 14. Don't Forget the Struggle. Don't Forget the Streets by Warzone.
Yeah.
Their debut album from 1988. Rest in peace to Rabies, the original drummer for Agnostic Front. A lot of people didn't know. Yep, Rabies, man. A huge loss. Passed away many, many years ago. Well over 20 years ago at this point. Loved, a huge member of this scene. One of the pioneers of hardcore dancing.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people. Rabies.
I won't hold that against him.
No, yeah. Hardcore moshing. Yeah, this band's phenomenal. Warzone, the very first record. Fuck Your Attitude, the title track. As One, It's Your Choice, and my favorite line, of course, is on the song. I think it was the title track. Don't Forget the Struggle. Was in our minds and our hearts that we feel that hardcore music should stay in the streets, and away from corporations. I forget the line by heart, but yeah, Rabies, rest in peace to him. One of the most important bands in New York hardcore history, cannot be left out. 14, Warzone.
And again, that's one of those ones I did leave off because I'm not super familiar.
Check it out. One for you to listen to.
Yeah, definitely. I know it's huge and there's such a cornerstone of all this, but I just never got around to them. So it might be an episode someday.
Yep, they did put out a lot of stuff after this on Victory Records.
Oh, yeah.
They went on to do the Victory Years compilation. All of it's great. All of it is pretty good. All of it is great. But this record is special. So
I love Victory Records so much.
Me too.
Well, my number 13 I'm probably also going to get yelled at for because it's way too low. But again, everything after it. And this isn't near my favorite album of theirs either. So it's one of those things too. I love this band for different reasons than this album. But it's going to be Life of Agony, River Runs Red. Way down at number 13.
It's quite all right.
Yeah, I know. Everybody boo that man, but
What was your favorite Soul Searching Sun? Was it?
Yes.
Soul Searching Sun. I have to go back to that still.
I fucking love that album so much.
Yeah, because I like Ugly 2 a lot.
Yeah.
River Red, well.
Yeah. Well, Soul Searching Sun is very, very, very 90s sounding, and it's not heavy too much in any kind of way. It's a different album of theirs, and everybody hated it at the time. But I don't know, I just love it. I remember reading the lyrics and all are just so great, and just means a lot. I remember reading
about it, but I don't let people explain me. If the music's great, that's all I care about.
It's so good.
I'll check out Soul Searching Sun. It's already on my to listen to list, my listen list. So I'll let you know how that works.
There you go. Yep.
That was your 13, right?
13, River Runs Red.
More on that later. Number 13, speaking of Victory Records, one of the household names on this Victory Records label, Snapcase.
Oh, yep.
The album is called Looking Last Self from 1993. Classic. You could almost call this metal.
Yeah.
Core. Actually, this is one of the early, if my mind serves me right, it's one of the earliest metalcore releases. One of the founding fathers of metalcore. Progressive metalcore in that vein of, I think these guys influenced Botch down the line.
Right.
These guys were big influence on Converge. Without these guys, there'd be no Converge.
Oh, I love Converge.
Especially on their next album, was it Progression Through Unlearning?
Yeah.
And I had to go with Looking Last Self, because this to me is just like, it's metal. It's very metallic. There's only like 6 or 7 songs on this album. It's pretty much an EP, but it's actually a full-length studio album. Songs are kind of lengthy, very progressive, very metallic. Everything they did I love, but Looking Last Self is their debut, and I have a thing for debuts.
Yes.
So it's also my favorite Snapcase record. So 13, Snapcase.
Well, a broken record here, but again, I just wasn't super familiar with them, which is odd, but didn't make the cut on my end. But number 12 did. So when I went through all these albums again, some of them I had to go revisit. You know, just to know where I would rank them, kind of hear them again. And revisiting it, this is my favorite album I refound. It's been too long. I love this band so much. They're so different, so unique. One of the most unique bands you'll hear in either of our lists for sure. But I'm going with Vision of Disorder's Imprint in 1998.
Ooh, it's pretty killer.
They're so melodic and interesting in places, and then they can get so hardcore. It's just a masterpiece of an album. And that the whole band, like all their stuff's super cool. I like Imprint for some reason. There you go. Like I said, I can't wait to go listen to this album again.
I'm definitely partial to debut, the self-titled one.
Yeah.
That's so...
I feel like they got a little more towards the hardcore edge in the second one, maybe. Like, I feel like the first one was a little weirder, which I love about it. I don't know. I was trying to keep it, like, harder core as much as I could for this list, so I'm going to go with Imprint. And plus, I don't know, man, I just really love Imprint.
I would say the first one's kind of metal, actually.
Yeah.
But Imprint's hardcore, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great album, no matter which one you pick. So.
Oh, they're so cool, man. What a great fucking band.
I'm glad you rediscovered them, because that's a band that I've been talking about quite a few times on the page.
I just haven't listened to them in a really, really, really long time. And since we were going to do this, I'm like, I need to go listen to them, you know? And I was listening to some of their stuff, and I'm like, fuck, I forgot. I mean, not that I forget how great it is. I just haven't listened to them in so long. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
It was my favorite thing to re-find in all this, for sure.
I love Vision of Disorder.
It's not my number one on my list, but it's my favorite album I've found out of all this so far, for sure, again.
Kudos to that. I had to leave them off my list, unfortunately, but yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a huge fan.
The stuff that's coming up is so special. It just makes so much sense. Why?
Yeah, no, for sure.
It'll make more sense.
I have them in number 12. That's almost top 10.
Yeah, that was number 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, getting up there, man, because, yeah, these guys are great. Well deserved to be on the list. They should be on my list, but you'll see why they're not in a minute.
Oh yeah, well from here on we're getting pretty deep.
Yeah, we're getting into sacred territory for each one of us. So number 12 kind of hurts to be at this spot because this album is so special. This is a band that the lead singer went on to do bigger and better things in the gothic metal world. And Kenny knows exactly where I'm going with this. Going with Carnivore Retaliation, 1987. Yeah, Carnivore Retaliation. This is thrash metal. Like, this is...
Yeah.
This is thrash, but these guys, you cannot talk New York hardcore without these guys.
No.
You just can't. No, not at all. You can't. And I prefer this band to Typo Negative. I hated Typo when I was little. I did see them live. I did see Peter Steele live with Typo. Mostly I went to see Celtic Frost before they broke up during the monotheist years. This was 2007. They were on that tour. And looking back, yeah, they were incredible. But back then, I only went because, I wanted to get in some girls' pants.
Right.
So it was a date, but I hated Typo. Now I love them. But Carnivore, always loved them. Retaliation is fucking incredible. This is actual metal. Like, if we I know I've said that a lot of these albums could pass off as metal. This band is metal. Like, this shit is thrash, crossover thrash, whatever you want to call it. Starts off with one of the greatest intros of all time, Jack Daniels and Pizza.
Yeah.
Don't listen to it while you're eating dinner. Just don't. But everything that comes after, Angry Neurotic Catholics, SMD, Suck My Dick.
That's right.
Ground Zero, Brooklyn, Race War, Jesus Hitler. A lot of these songs are silly when you listen to them, but you read the lyrics. I'm not much of a lyrics guy, but now that I'm older, I'm slowly starting to read the lyrics to a lot of these albums.
Oh, yeah, you totally should, yeah.
And Peter Steele was a brilliant writer, man.
He is. He's a great writer.
What a brilliant writer. A lot of metaphors, a lot of really direct, punchy kind of line. Really socially conscious, really ahead of his time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Peter Steele, Carnival, Retaliation in 1987 had to be on this list because of influence, because of my love for this band and my love for Peter Steele, early Peter Steele with the barbarian suit and everything.
Yes. So, well, more on that later.
Oh, yeah.
On my end. Number 11 for me. You will probably should have this one, I'd imagine. Probably a lot higher, though. My number 11 is going to be Earth Crisis, Destroy the Machines.
Yep.
1995. This is fucking hardcore. This is what I mean when I say hardcore. And you were talking earlier about production. This one has this weird, thin, tinny production sound, and that's what I love about it, and it's why I chose it. It has bad production I just fucking love. It's such a cool sound. Oh, it totally fits it, man. It totally fits it. It's just great.
Yeah, more on that later.
Yeah, well, I figured.
More on that later. Number 11 pains me to leave it off my top 10 because if we're going on influence alone, if we're going on to New York hardcore influence alone, number 11 should be everyone's number 1.
Right.
But it's my number 11. It's the motherfucking Cro-Mags with the Age of Quarrel.
Oh, wow. That is
again,
low.
Yeah, it's low. But it's low for a reason because top 10 is like, it'll make sense why top 10 is my top 10. But yeah, Cro-Mags, The Age of Quarrel just missed my top 10. I love every fucking song on this album, man. Hard Times, Survival of the Fittest, Life of My Own. Come on, man. Yo, John Joseph, Harley Flanagan, work your shit out so I can go see you guys live.
Yeah. Again with the Cro-Mags, yeah.
Work that shit out because I really need to go see these guys live. I really want to see that Age of Quarrel lineup live. And Mackey's one of my favorite drummers of all time. I mean, that dude is a fucking monster on this album.
Yeah.
Dude's a monster, period. But this record, enough said. Cro-Mags, Age of Quarrel. Who doesn't know this album?
Well, yeah. Again, coming up later on, but...
Yeah, I know.
So, on my last band, I had Earth Crisis, which, you know, as you love, is animal rights guys, straight edge, vegans, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, my next stretch of bands are not.
Oh, of course.
This is going the direct opposite way of Jose's top 10 of all this great, like, uplifting, great lifestyle and proud of your shit. Like, this is my next stretch is the direct opposite. It goes completely to shit from here on for a lot of it. But, so here we are, the top 10. Time to celebrate. We are in the top 10. We made it through half of this. So, my top 10 starts off with Carnivore.
Yeah, which one?
Self-titled.
Knew it.
Self-titled.
Male supremacy.
Has to be there.
Yeah.
It's just so in your face, man. You know, Peter Steele, Type O Negative, all that. But,
I love the first record.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I love it. Male supremacy alone makes me want to pick that one over Retaliation.
Yeah, Retaliation's so good.
Retaliation. Any one of those two is great, man. So. But yeah, talk about that first record.
Yeah.
Sounds so good for 85, doesn't it?
Yeah, surprisingly. And again, these guys that have these low, you know, budgets and everything, but it's really good. It's all the crazy songs and shit.
These guys were so big. They were so good at what they did. They had to know somebody to make them sound that good on record. You know what I mean?
Right.
They knew somebody.
I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely respect that. It just goes to show you influence. They were good. Peter Steele's a legend, you know, Typo or Carnivore. Rest in peace to Peter Steele, too, by the way.
Of course.
Rest in peace to Pete.
Always missed. So there you go. I mean, I wish he was still around. It'd be so cool, but...
Oh, man, I wish he was still around. So I can actually go see Typo now that I love him.
Yeah, I know. I never had the chance.
Oh, yeah. I only went to go see him for the girl, but looking back, yeah, it was definitely a great show. I would say even better than Celtic Frost, and Celtic Frost is one of my favorite.
Holy shit, that'd be insane.
Bruh, Celtic Frost, Tom G. Warrior is fucking phenomenal.
Fuck yeah.
I wish that for, love Celtic Frost. Number 10, holy shit.
Top 10.
Number 10. We're going to 1992 on this one. You could call them metal, alternative metal. Definitely important to hardcore, though. Meantime by Helmet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I like this album better than The Age of Quarrel by Cro-Mags. I know that's sacrilege, because there would be no Helmet if it wasn't for Cro-Mags.
Yeah.
But Helmet, Meantime, everyone on the page knows how I feel about this album, so I cannot say anything about it. Just go look at my ravings for this band and album on the Facebook page. Seriously. Kenny knows better than I do. So my number 10 is Helmet, Meantime.
That's one of those albums I left off only because I didn't really feel like it fit.
It's definitely hardcore. Like the riffing, the sound is metal.
Yeah.
But the riffing's hardcore. It's like metalcore before metalcore.
Right. Now I say that this one doesn't fit, and I'm about to get into my next 2 picks in a row, which are a fucking disaster. But because these are the 2 I told you about earlier, where it's like, okay, understand that I may have strayed some, like I always do.
Got it.
And I'm like, Helmet doesn't fit, and then I'm about to pick this shit, and everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck? But again, like I told you earlier, if this one band fits, then I think this band fits. So I'm gonna put them on there anyway because I love them.
Okay.
So my number 9, Oh, boy, talk about not straight edge. Oh my God. Number 9, I got Choking Victim. No gods, no managers, 1999. It's time to get crusty. This is not Gorilla Biscuits. This is not Earth Crisis. This is no 7 seconds, man. These dudes did crack. They stole stuff. They're squatting in abandoned buildings.
Oh, without a doubt.
With that said, they are fucking amazing.
Oh my God.
Their sound is completely insane. When they're hardcore as fuck, and then they start doing ska and God knows what the fuck else.
I love Choking Victim.
Love them.
And one of the 60 bands and albums that had, or not bands, but 60 albums that was on my list. It got booted off, but that's a huge honorable mention. If there was a top 30, this was on the list for sure.
Cool.
At least. Top 25, maybe.
I felt like when I was listening back, I'm like, man, I was trying so hard to stay militant to my, like, hardcore definition, but, like, this isn't it. But,
no,
like...
These guys count. I would put them in there.
Yeah.
Because
they
well
are
respected. I think they only got the one release, if my mind serves me right. It's just the one album.
Yeah, so, pretty much. There's like another thing, but I don't know really what it was. I didn't look too much in it. I love this band so much, man.
Yeah, but this unfortunately one and done band. I mean, they did bigger and better things down the line, but Choking Victim was great. Love it. That's a great pick. I wouldn't argue or contest that. So that's a wonderful pick. Love it.
I have them so high, man. They're so much fun.
So good. Fun band too, but they're good. Great players. Yeah, they were squatters, thieves, not fucking straight edge. But that doesn't matter. Is the music killer? Yes, it is.
Oh, fuck.
Fucking A, man. Love it.
So there you go.
Had to leave them off that list, unfortunately, because, well, 1 through 9 are special, man. As with my number 9.
Number 9?
One of the hardest bands. Number 9. This was the first record. Came out in 1995. These guys are important. Still going up. Still around today. Band called Marauder.
Okay, yeah.
And this album's Master Killer. Holy shit. This is like the metalcore album. I would say this is the metalcore album.
Yeah.
Along with another one, which I'll get into later on. But Master Killer, the title track, Downfall of Christ. Life is fucking pain.
Yeah.
Time ends. This is hard, man. Anyone who's into metal and has not listened to this shit, you're doing yourself a disservice. You want to be someone's best friend for the rest of their lives? Put them onto this shit. I can't say the same thing for all their albums that came out after this.
Yeah.
But this one is special, man. Marauder, Master Killer from 95.
That's good stuff.
Amazing.
Very good.
12 out of 10. It's a masterpiece.
Fuck yeah. All right. Well, hey, remember Choking Victim?
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
They're back. They're back, but this time they're called Leftover Crack.
Yes. Which one did you pick?
I'm taking Fuck World Trade 2004.
Attaboy.
Oh, man. Choking Victim's back. Scott Sturgeon is back. So he started this band basically by himself, was recording everything by himself until he can get a band together. The bass guy from Choking Victim joins him. Amory Smith joins him from Suicidal and Beastie Boys. Yeah, this album is all over the fucking place, but
oh my god.
It says elements of death metal, classic folk, the anarcho, the ska, the hardcore. It's as much of a mess as this band can be, but that's why I have them so high. Oh yeah.
This would have been my number 21. I had to leave them off the list, unfortunately, and it pains me.
No, there's no way.
I love Leftover Cracks, Fuck World Train, man.
Yeah.
Feed the Children, Book of Lies, One Dead Cop. Rock the 40 is a classic. Life is Pain, Clear Channel, Fuck Off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is phenomenal, man. This is a 10 out of 10.
So
not a skip on this album.
Yeah, so again, they're kind of weird for what we're doing, but I can't go without them.
They count. Them and Choking Victim, I have no problem with. Shout out to Star Fucking Hipsters too. They're underrated.
Yeah,
they're really cool. In the same vein, not on my list either. Good band nonetheless. Leftover Cracks, incredible.
So there you go. We're getting gutter over here in my list.
Yeah, my number 8 is. Again, another special album. A lot of people will pick the debut as their best record, but before I tell you what album and band it is, I gotta give a shout out to my man Eddie Sutton, who is a legend in the hardcore game. Recently diagnosed with cancer. Hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully he's getting the proper treatment. I know a lot of these bands did free shows to pay for his medical bills. If you know who Eddie Sutton is, a lot of people refer to him as Eddie Leeway.
Right.
My number 8 is Leeway, Desperate Measures, 1991. This record, when I tell you that, is magnificent. It is magnificent. This has always been my favorite Leeway album.
Yeah.
Born to Expire, everyone loves it. More on the crossover side, Born to Expire. Very funky, very groovy. This one's even more groovier. Still metallic, still kind of thrashy. Kingpin, they made a video for it. That was kind of like their big hit, quote unquote. But there's a lot of great songs on this album. Make Me an Offer. What's that one song called? All About Dope. Ball Hugger. The future ain't what it used to be. Pokey Momo is one of the best drummers in this game. I think he played with the Cro-Mags for a bit. I think, if I remember correctly, a few live shows. I don't know if he did some albums with them, but a lot of people say Pokey or Mackie. Mackie or Pokey, they're both incredible.
All right.
I love Pokey's incredible. Shout out to Eddie. Fuck you, Cancer. Hopefully he's doing well, because Cancer is a bitch. That's my number 8.
Yeah, and here again, this is another one of those massive classics that I wasn't as super familiar with as I should be, so I don't have it.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit of it, and I finally got around to listening to some, but I didn't feel comfortable putting it on my list as, you know, this is shit that, like you said, this is stuff I've listened to my whole life and shit, so I don't want to put something I just heard, you know, yesterday. But it is fantastic, for sure, and it's so important to everything. All right, number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah, boy. So I'm going with MOD's USA for MOD.
Another one. I missed my list.
1987. I fucking love these motherfucking crazy dudes. Produced by Scott. I don't know why I put produced for. I'm an idiot. Anyway. So like I said, I know Jose's going to have some nice, positive, straight-edge hardcore, and so far I have Crackheads and MOD. But this,
I love Billy Milano and MOD though.
Yeah, but this album is so funny. If you can take a joke, if not, beware. They are. This one's pretty brutal in places, but
I would give the edge to Gross Misconduct, but I love USA for MOD.
Yeah, USA is just the one I ended up listening to a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, I think you were around for that, so you have more history with this band than I do. But I love MOD. I love MOD to death. Incredible. USA for MOD. Don't be a snowflake and take it personal.
It's a rough one. It's a rough go if you're sensitive.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Take it like a man.
It's a bad.
Great pick. My number 7. Fuck you, Kenny, for putting this at your number 17. Is Sick of It All. Blood, sweat, and no motherfucking tears.
It's very okay.
Fucking A. This is my favorite Sick of It All.
Yeah.
This is the one I go back to each and every time.
Yeah.
My favorite song by this band is on this album. Friends Like You. Fucking love that song. Shout out to KRS-One. He makes a feature on this one.
There you go.
KRS-One, Sick of It All. Really good friends. KRS-One, don't know. He's a hip-hop legend. One of the greatest of all time.
Yes, yeah. His part comes up. It's really cool.
One of the GOATs. I mean, KRS-One. Knowledge reigns supreme over anyone. That's what KRS-One stands for. Sick of It All, Blood, Sweat, and No Tears. This is a classic. G.I. Joe, Head Stomp. World full of hate. Bullshit justice. BS justice. Injustice system. We must fight injustice. This is hardcore. This is Sick of It All's finest moment. Love Scratch the Surface. Everything else after. But if you gotta go with one, stick with this one.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Lou Kohler. His brother, I forget, the guitar player. They're both brothers.
Yep.
Armand Mahidi, one of the best drummers in the game, kills it on this album. And I think Craig Setari was the bass player on this album. He's incredible, too. Was an Agnostic Front for a bit, played with millions of bands. And, yeah, this Sick of It All. Blood, Sweat, and No Tears. Before I go any further, is my number 7, one of the greatest albums of all time, one of my favorite hardcore records of all time. Period. Mic drop.
All right.
Fucking so low.
Yeah, I do have it low.
Essential.
It is. But I have it so low because I have shit like the Cro-Mags' Age of Quarrel at number 6.
Yeah, I knew it. Fuck me for putting it so low.
right outside the top 5. I do have it at number 6 because my top 5, this is where it starts to get special for me. But, yeah, you know, Jose had that one too low, but that's okay. Yeah, Cro-Mags, we already talked about it a million times. Cro-Mags, it is what it is.
That is a 30 on a 10 scale.
Yeah, fuck.
If you're not a hardcore fan if you don't own this record.
Like I said, the cover art explains it all. It's a fucking bomb dropping on you.
Yeah, it's literally an atomic bomb. Holy shit. It's 15 songs long, 15 or 16, I can't remember exactly, but every song does not miss a beat.
No, fuck no, it's all perfection.
No!
It's all perfection.
Hard Times. Oh my god, Hard Times.
All perfect, so.
Makes me want to punch it. Makes me want to punch a cat. So hard. I love this album.
So, we are now at the top 5.
No. My number 6.
You got number 6 to go.
Yeah, my number 6 too. Yeah, my number 6 just missed the top 5 because the top 5 are the bands for me. These guys need no introduction. It's Agnostic Front.
No.
But
all right, which album? Here we go.
Which album am I going with? I've always said that the greatest thing they ever did, the greatest studio album they ever did, was Cause for Alarm.
Okay.
But it's not my pick. My pick is the original Live at CBGB from 1989.
Okay.
As the best Agnostic Front record, hands down. The definitive versions of those songs are on this release, in my opinion. Public Assistance, Victim in Pain, Crucified, which might be my all-time favorite Agnostic Front song. And it's not even a song they even they wrote. Version written by Iron Cross. They covered it, but they made it their own. I love every song on here, man. Friend or Foe, Agnostic Front Live at CBGB. The lineup on here is fucking ridiculous. Roger Moret, Vinny Stigma, Craig Satari on bass from Sick of It All. Shout out to him. Will Shepler, who is a monster drummer. And the other guy, I forget his name for the life of me because I don't have the album on. That cover is hardcore. The American flag with the Doc Martin boot.
Yeah.
Red laces.
Yeah.
Incredible. Agnostic Front, legend. Had to be my number 6.
All right.
Top 5, but you'll find out why in a minute.
Well, as we get into the top 5 here, it's going to get Agnostic Front heavy. So I have 2 Agnostic Fronts in my top 5.
Ooh, which ones?
But I knew they wouldn't be the same albums you would pick, because I got 2 weird ones that I just fucking love. And I know one. And it's just because I don't know. I got them at the time they came out, and they just, man, it kicked me so fucking hard. So I love these 2 albums. They're kind of weird Agnostic Front picks, I guess, in a way, but they're classic to me. Yeah. So my number 5 is going into one of them, and that is Something's Gotta Give. Something's Gotta Give, 1998. Something has just gotta.
Epitaph era.
Yeah, I love that shit, man.
I love the Epitaph.
Yeah, this album this is everything I love about hardcore, man. This is my definition of it. Something's Gotta Give is definitely, I'm dropping my shit over and over again, but this is definitely in my top 5. It's a super special album for me. It's one I've listened to a billion times. I probably still have my original CD from when this fucking thing came out in the 90s. I
knew going into this episode that was going to be on your list. I knew without even you saying it. Because I know how it is to you. I love it. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. There's no skips on it. Every song is a banger.
Yeah.
But again, like with anything, timing is everything.
Yeah, that's what it is for me. This is totally a timing album. And so is the other one.
Your other one. So that was your number 5, right?
That is number 5.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick for number 5. Same with my number 5. Holy shit, we're in the top 5? Damn,
top 5. And it's only been an hour.
It's only been an hour, absolutely. My number 5, I've always said this band was in the top 5 greatest New York hardcore bands ever. Motherfucking Judge.
Yeah.
Bringing it down from 1989. Is it crossover? Is it thrash? Is it metalcore? Is it hardcore? It could be anything you want it to be. But one thing it is, without a doubt, is fucking killer.
Yeah.
This is straight edge hardcore to the T.
It is.
Not as preachy, but it's fucking chaotic, man. Mike Judge, John Porcelli, who was in Youth of Today, started this band.
There's the Youth of Today tie.
Yep, the Youth of Today connection, the New York hardcore connection. These guys are phenomenal. I've seen these guys live 3 times.
Oh, shit.
Yes, I've seen Judge 3 times. I've seen him at This Is Hardcore in 2013, 2015 with the Crumbsuckers, which was
nice.
fucking ridiculous. And 2018, I think it was, or 2017, I can't remember. But each time they kill it. These guys are OGs. The title track, Take Me Away. My favorite Judge song, which is the slower one, The Storm. There Will Be Quiet.
Yeah.
Storm is my all-time favorite Judge song. And again, that has to do with a lot. That has to do with the fact that my background before hardcore and punk music was metal.
Yeah.
So I love metallic breakdowns. I love the metal like Kenny does. Whether or not I talk about it as much is beyond the question, but just know, deep down, metal music was my first love.
Fuck yeah.
And this has exactly all that in a bag of chips. Judge bringing it down, number 5.
It was very close to being on my list. I'm just not as huge on them.
Yeah, really good.
Like you said earlier, if we did maybe a 30, I'd probably have to bring it in. But
Sure. 4.
Number 4. So like I said, if this band made it in, then I would have to bring in, like the Leftover Crack and all that weird stuff. And you know how much I fucking love this band. So I'm going to go with Nausea, of course.
Nope.
Like I asked you earlier. I'm going to go with Extinction because it's kind of, really all they had. But I would just say just get the anthologies and get it over with. Fuck the bullshit, Fuck trying to get a proper album. Just get both the anthologies and listen to everything and be happy.
Yeah, the Punk Terrorist Anthology, Volume 1 and 2.
Yep, just get those. I love the anarcho shit. I love crusty shit. And this is where I started realizing I'm starting to stray way too much from my hardcore, what I wanted to do. But, God, there's no way I'm going without Nausea. They're one of my favorite bands.
Yeah,
So.
They're great. Miss My List, they're incredible. And going back to what you said about get the anthologies, shout out to Jello Biafra, because if you could get them on the $1 CD sale at Alternative Tentacles, do it.
Which I absolutely did.
That's how I did it too. I got them for $1 each.
Got them for $2.
$2 I spent years.
Fuck yes. Yeah, I finally got copies back up. Well, I had them, but then all my CDs got stolen, so that was the time I was able to rebuy them.
Yeah, I lost my shit in a fire a few years ago, and to get them for $1 a piece.
Fuck yeah.
That just, it's not vinyl, but it's CD. It doesn't fucking matter as long as I have them.
Oh yeah, no, definitely just like having them. I wear those out.
Yeah, just having them. It's a gift. Shout out to Jello.
Cool. Always a shout out to Jello. There's always room for Jello.
Always room for Jello, for sure.
But Nausea, man, fucking Nausea. I just love that shit. This is a certain little section of hardcore stuff, like them and Phobia and all that stuff. I love that shit so much.
Yep, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, like we said, this is uncharted territory for us because this is like the cream of the crop as far as Kenny's list goes for him and my list for mine. It's just the cream. This is it.
The top three.
These are the band.
The top 3 here, fucking
4,
stomp.
I'm in number 4.
Yeah, you got to do your 4 first. Do your 4.
My number 4 you already went through. It's one of the most important bands in my life. This is Hatebreed before Hatebreed.
Yeah.
This was on Kenny's list. It's fucking Earth Crisis.
Right.
Destroy the Machine.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. Jamie Josta and Kurt from Earth Crisis. Is it Kurt? I forget his name. But yeah, see these guys live. Fucking insane, man. Sounds exactly like Jamie Josta. This is Hatebreed before Hatebreed. And Hatebreed is, gun to my head, you make me choose between Hatebreed and Earth Crisis, I gotta say Hatebreed, because Hatebreed I discovered first.
Fuck yeah.
Hatebreed is special. Hatebreed is special to me.
Fuck yeah.
I've seen them live 19 times, but I've seen Earth Crisis live 2 or 3 times. 3 times.
We don't get to do Hatebreed because this is New York, but Hatebreed gets shit on.
Connecticut. Shout out to Connecticut.
They get shit on so much. Hatebreed gets shit on so much. It's like, fuck you. Those dudes are fucking awesome.
Yeah, Hatebreed's fucking amazing.
Greatest live band I've ever seen in my life. That nobody touches them.
Hardest working band in punk and metal.
Oh yeah.
Like those guys are always on the road, man.
Oh yeah, I saw them live like 4 times on accident. Just trying to see something else.
Yeah, ever since Perseverance era tour.
Fuck yeah.
I've never missed a show.
Yeah.
Never missed. phenomenal. These guys are, incredible. But going back to Earth Crisis.
Yes, indeed.
This is my favorite Destroy the Machine studio album. I know they're not. Unfortunately, this is a band where after their next record, Gomorrah Season Ends.
Yes.
I don't really like anything they did.
Okay.
I do love Gomorrah Season Ends, which is their follow-up to this. But after that, like Sepultura, Post, Arise, I don't like shit they did.
It's okay to be wrong, but...
Yeah. It's okay to be wrong, absolutely. No, they did put out a couple EPs early on Earth Crisis, All Out War, which is their very first release, and their next one, Firestorm, which is also a bona fide classic. But Destroy the Machines, like Kenny said, this is hardcore.
No, it is.
Every fucking song, oh my God, man. Forced March. When I heard that for the first time, I almost got into an accident.
Yeah.
Because I was on the edge of my feet like, what the fuck is this? Amazing. Shit saved my life almost. Almost killed me, but it saved my life. Born from Pain, Destroy the Machines, New Ethic. Holy shit, hold on. Before I get the next, the next few picks, let me read you the song, or what's that one song on this record? The Discipline. Holy shit. The Discipline, not New Ethic. New Ethic's great, but The Discipline? Let me just read you these lyrics. The key to self-liberation is abstinence from the destructive escapism of intoxication. I separate from poison, a mindlessness I've always abhorred. Usage will only increase the pain, the truth I constantly see ignored. The pollutants that kill the body breed apathy within the mind. The substances that once brought release in the end will always confine. From drug-clouded lungs and veins, motivation dissipates. Imprisoned within, addiction, abuse increases until death overtakes. What?
Yeah.
Fuck. Earth Crisis. Destroy the Machines is my number 4. I don't need to say shit else. Important.
And I brought Crackheads.
It's all right.
I brought Crackheads. Are you kidding me? What's wrong with me?
We're two polar opposites.
That's what when I started realizing my list and what's going on, I'm like, this is going to be amazing. Because you're going to have stuff like that. And I'm like, so I got MOD. It's fucked up. Well, top 3. Top 3. So you gotta have this one. This has to be in your top 3 too, then, because there's no way this album isn't on your fucking list. I'm gonna throw stuff if you don't have this album on your list. You gotta have it. There's no way you don't. It has to be your number 2 or something. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going with the fucking obvious as fuck. One of the most slamming albums of all fucking time. This thing hits like a goddamn brick. And I'm going with Madball's Set It Off.
I was going to say drum roll, please. But
no, fuck drum rolls. Gunshots, motherfucker. Yeah, Madball's Set It Off.
That's your number 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Explain.
Yeah, like I said, man, this album just hits so goddamn hard. Down by Law, iconic.
Classic.
You know, this is again a side piece of Agnostic Front. So you know that's why I love it. With Roger's younger brother on vocals and the crushing guitar riffs just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Agnostic Front to a next level almost. It's a little more on the hardcore side, I think. It's definitely more metallic than Agnostic Front tends to be, although Agnostic Front will punch you in the face. This album, man, Madball itself is just great. This I think is their best by far. It's the most classic, I think, but holy shit. I fucking love this album. This album just, how do you not get fucking pumped up listening to this shit? Like you said, you want to punch a fucking cat or something. I'll punch a fucking baby. This fucking album rocks so goddamn hard.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck. So good. Set it off. Yeah, Madball, man. Madball. So much fun.
Number 3. Number 3. I said this in a few episodes with Kenny. This record saved my life. This is in my opinion, because I play drums, this is the best snare drum sound of all fucking time. My number 3, drum roll.
Okay.
Is Life of Agony, River Runs Red.
Okay.
This is one of the most important albums in my life.
Right.
Like, this is a Desert Island album. If I gotta choose 10, this is among those 10 records.
Wow.
This is one of the most important releases. This molded who I am today. Like, this is number one. This is Life of Agony's best release. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
This is the most important. This is my favorite Life of Agony release. I love every song on here. I love every skit. Lyrically, it's very miserable. Yes, very miserable. Very. I won't spoil what happens at the end, but if you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's a concept record, kind of, but every song on here is fucking insane, man. The title track, Through and Through, Respect, Method of Groove, The Stain Remains, This Time, Bad Seed. This album's perfect. Life of Agony. Shout out to Mina, who
yes
is still alive today. Mina, formerly known as Keith.
Yes.
I have seen this band live 3 times. The 2 times I saw him, the first 2 times I saw Mina when Mina was known as Keith.
Right.
And I saw them 1 time with Mina. They're still great.
Yeah,
live.
Cool. I've watched videos and heard stuff. It's still awesome, yeah.
So I'm going to use an analogy here. I love Van Halen to death, the original 6-pack. Kenny loves Van Halen too, I think.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. But I have an issue with Alex Van Halen's snare sound. I hate it.
Okay.
I think that snare trash. This one, this is what a snare drum should sound like.
I'm going to have to go back and listen for it, I guess.
This record, River Runs Red, the snare sound is the best snare sound I've ever heard in my life. I've yet to hear someone who has the same snare sound. That just, it pops, it's punchy, it's there, it's present.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go listen to it for sure again for that.
Agony, River Runs Red. Kenny talked about it, but I worship the ground this fucking album walks on. This band and album walks on. And I love Ugly too.
Yeah.
And Soul Searching Sun, I have to go back and listen to it. It's on my list.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel the exact same way, but it would be about soul searching for those same reasons. Like when I was in those negative mindsets and like those horrible thoughts creep in, and that's what that album's all about again. Like Soul Searching is right before Keith made the change to Mina, and that's what the album was about, except nobody knew that at the time.
Yeah, nobody knew it.
And that's what that album is, where he's finally like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And he, it said that it was either that or he was going to kill himself, and that's what the whole album's about. And Soul Searching is so amazing, man. And it really, it's one of those albums I connected with for that reason.
I would read up on Mina's life as Keith, very traumatizing, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, horrible, yeah.
Very, almost similar to that of Jonathan Davis from Korn. I'm not a Korn fan, but I read up on his story, and yeah, it's very traumatizing, man. The shit that he went through. Same thing with Mina, but not minus the rape.
Yeah.
I hate to use that word.
No.
But yeah, very, very, very life impacting shit. Yeah, Life of Agony, River Runs Red is one of my top 3 hardcore.
Absolutely should be.
Yeah, that's my number 3. Shit like this is why Chromax is number 11. Again, timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
It really is.
And number 1 and number 2 for me are all about it.
Well, yeah, number 2 for you this time.
This is the return of Agnostic Front. But it's Riot Upstart in 1999, 1 year after the other one.
Oh, wow. Wait, you like Riot Upstart more than Something's Gotta Give?
Yeah, I do.
I thought Something's Gotta Give higher.
No, I love Riot, man. See them all running, they all want revenge. Fuck, man. God.
Yeah.
New York City.
Hardcore, bro.
New York City is ours tonight.
Oh, man. Epitaph, right? Yeah.
Yep, still there. Produced by Lars.
Oh, yeah. Produced by Lars.
I didn't know that till this run around through. I'm like, oh, shit, no shit. It's Lars Fredrickson. How about that? Yeah, man. Fuck. Yeah, to be honest, I guess in a way, Something's Got to Give and Riot's just kind of even for me in a way. I just shoved Madball in there so I wouldn't fucking put them back to back. But
how do you feel about that? Yep, the third Epitaph.
So that one was right after, and that would be my least favorite of the 3 because I did buy it also. But
without a doubt.
I didn't like it as much. Didn't like it as much. It's kind of where it started to lose me, especially after how good the other two were.
Oh yeah.
Like it kind of dropped me off on Dead Yuppies, but it's still fun. It's a good one. Dead Yuppies. it's fun. It's a fun album. I need to re-listen to it. But
they embrace the epitaph sound on these records.
Oh,
those 3 albums,
man,
but
I love it. Love it all so much.
It's like Bad Religion. If they would have moved to New York, this is what they would sound like. Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bad Religion.
You know my obsession with Bad Religion nowadays, but
hey, you know, if you know, you know. I love Bad Religion.
Led to a whole episode so far. I did that, but
exactly.
Yeah. Oh my god, so fucking good.
Exactly.
Bad Religion. Like I said, if I'd have heard Bad Religion first, they'd probably be my favorite band of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? Was it someone? Was it someone in the group or what? That was like their favorite band and used to talk about them all the time. I don't know if it was somebody in the group or some shit.
I think was it Charlie Wolf?
It might have been. Was it?
There was a guy named Charlie Wolf. He's on the Rock and Metal Combat.
Okay.
Podcast. Shout out to Ian and Ralph. Those guys are. You know,
I haven't seen that Charlie dude in a while, as a matter of fact. He was really cool. I used to actually talk to that dude. He was kind of cool.
Still on the page. Hopefully he's still on the page because he's big on Bad Religion. I know he's big on Descendants, which I love, obviously. Descendants are my top 5, but
anyway.
Big into that California scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Greg McClasson too. Greg too. Shout out to Greg. Greg is my man.
Yeah, totally.
He's on the Facebook page.
Oh, massive.
But yeah. Oh, man, fantastic.
But
number 2.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, number 2 and number 1 are set in stone, man. These are the hardcore records as far as New York goes for me. You mentioned Set It Off as your number 3.
Okay. Okay.
My number 2 is Madball, Demonstrating My Style, man.
Okay.
The follow-up. What?
Okay.
Oh, to me, this shit's on Set It Off. I know that's sacrilege, but man.
Wow. All right.
This Demonstrating My Style, man. Come on, dude. Pride Times Are Changing was my first Madball song. Still is my favorite Madball song of all time.
Yeah.
Times are changing for the worse. Gotta keep a positive outlook. Growing up in some fallen times. Thinking back when I was a kid, times have changed so much since then. All growing up, I've got to do for myself. Refuse to depend on anyone else. Come on, man. Freddie is, in my opinion, the best hardcore frontman, period.
Yeah. Nice.
Even from when he was a kid. To me, Madball has always been a notch ahead of Agnostic Front. Agnostic Front is, no disrespect on their name, because that's sacred shit for me. They're in my top 10. But Madball is, if it wasn't for my number 1 band and album, this would be the best hardcore band ever.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, Demonstrating My Style is fucking phenomenal.
They have, Madball has this, like, almost harder punch to them than Agnostic Front does.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Definitely more street, more realistic. It's just a group of dudes, man. You know, regular jobs. They play hardcore at night. You know what I mean? They're one of the hardest working bands, you know? Jamie Josta himself said it. Madball's the reason he's in music.
Yeah.
That and metal. Death metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking Agnostic Front and Madball. Jamie Josta, that's all he talks about when it comes to hardcore is Agnostic Front and Madball.
Yeah.
And with good reason, because those two bands, in this case Madball, is those first 4 Madball records are important to me. Life-changing shit. Demonstrating My Style is my favorite Madball release. Set It Off is fantastic. I love it. But that second record, there is no such thing as sophomore slump on this one. No, it's. I think Freddie's vocals came more to fruition.
Maybe
I love the vocals on Set It Off. But Freddie became Freddie on Demonstrating My Style. This is where he moved away from the Agnostic Front influence.
Yeah, that's fair.
He went to do his own thing. This is where Madball started to become Madball that they are today. For me, Set It Off is a 10 out of 10, but this is a 15 out of 10. I love this record.
I preferred Set It Off. I just did, but there you go.
It's harder.
Yeah.
But Demonstrating My Style.
That might be why.
The words hit on Demonstrating My Style. We're going all the way to number 1 now. Hold on. Let's get to number 1.
Number 1.
Let's just give a shout out to all those bands that didn't make it to number 1 or to the number 20 list. I mean, just.
Murphy's Law. I didn't do Murphy's Law.
Yep. Murphy's Law, Nausea, fucking, oh my God, there was a band, Sub-Zero didn't make it on my list, Vision of Disorder, there was a band called
H2O.
Yeah, H2O.
I didn't do H2O.
The first record, H2O, subtitled, I think it was.
Yeah.
I would have picked Turnstile if they weren't from Baltimore. They're from Baltimore, but Turnstile is a band that, again, just as important as anything on this list for me.
Yeah.
But they're from Baltimore, so they don't count.
Well, yeah, Murphy's Law was very, very, very close to being on mine.
Yeah, me too. Jimmy Gestapo is... I've met him a couple times. Funny dude. Lives hardcore like no... He's not straight edge because he smokes and drinks like a madman.
Yeah, I'm about to say that it fit my list really good. I should have put him on there just for that because that'd have been funny. But
he's cool. Jimmy Gestapo's funny. King of the one-liners.
Yeah.
When it comes to hardcore. But yeah, let's go all the way to number one. And I want Kenny to say his number one before I say mine because my number one, if you know me well enough, you know what it is. But what's your number one, Kenny?
Well, mine's a weird one. But it goes all the way back to being a kid, digging in my fucking brother's tapes. I say CDs, not no way. But digging through his cassettes. I've been listening to it ever since. It's so important to underground music in general. Mm-hmm. And it's Speak English or Fucking Die, man. SOD. It's the birth of the blast beat. It's hilarious. It's crushing guitar riffs. It's Danny Loker. It's the Milano Mosh. It's Milk. There's so much about this album. I found it at way too young of an age, probably, and I never, ever, ever fucking put it down.
Yeah.
This album is so much fun. It's MOD all over again, but better.
Yeah. Picked up a notch.
Bigger Than the Devil's good too, but Speak English or Die, man.
What's that noise?
What the fuck? Man, we listened to that so many times. There's a version of What's That Noise on USA for MOD also, by the way, but which is why I love it. And Milk. The Premenstrual Princess Blues.
Yeah.
God damn it.
The SOD, Kill Yourself, the Milano Mosh, come on.
March of the SOD hits so goddamn hard. It's like the greatest guitar riff of all time. Scott Ian's guitar riffs on this are fucking sick. They break jaws. They break necks.
Pussy whipped.
Oh, man. This album's so awesome.
Douche crew, fuck the Middle East.
Fuck the Middle East, man.
Man. This record, unfortunately, it did not make my list, but
that's crazy. It's my number one, man. I found this thing when I was little, and I never got over it.
That hurts, man. But again, timing is everything. And this shit, though I discovered it way young, too, 20 albums that I found to be of much more importance to me.
I totally grew up with this album, and neither one of us grew up since.
Exactly. And I think a lot of it has to do with that. To me, this is metal.
It is, man.
It is fucking metal.
And that's what I was saying. It's kind of ironic in this because I wanted this list to define my definition of hardcore, and this one kind of don't. I never really thought of this album as a hardcore punk album in any kind of way. But
it's so important to hardcore that came after because this started the blast beat.
It does that. It's the blast beat. It's the hardcore guitar riff. It's everything at once.
Exactly. Charlie Benante is the father of the blast beat. Holy shit.
Charlie don't cheat.
No, man. Charlie is phenomenal. Underrated.
You know, God
started
damn
the
it.
blast beat. Know your history, kids, because this is where it all began.
I love this album way too much.
I love it. I adore it. Yeah, this is essential. I don't trust a metal fan or a hardcore fan that doesn't know this album. And if you don't, I'm going to put you on game.
It's so fucking early, you know? Like, for what everything it's doing on here is so early on.
So good, man.
It's so crazy. Way ahead of its time.
Number
one for Jose, though.
There's one band that I left off the list for good reason. And they were mentioned early on in the episode. So if you've been listening to this episode all the way up until now, you deserve a clap.
Yeah, no shit. Thank you for hanging in there for sure.
A hug and a kiss, a big thank you. You are appreciated. You are the best. You are a real one.
Indeed.
And may you get that time back twice. as much as what you've invested throughout this episode.
Absolutely. We owe you 3 hours.
Yep. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. All the bullshit aside, all the joking aside, thank you for listening.
Totally.
Number one.
This has been so much fun.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on this SS episode. This was fun.
Yes, indeed. I always look forward to these.
Absolutely. Everything that we've discussed has led me to this point. Number one. So what is Jose's number one list? Well, I've always said on the Facebook page and in real life, people who know me in real life know, this is the most important band. When I think of hardcore music, when I think of my lifestyle, when I think of who I am as a person, when I think of vegetarianism, vegan, I'm a vegetarian, not a vegan. I love cheese. I love pizza.
Yeah, totally.
I love that shit.
Yeah, there you go. We did that not too long ago.
The occasional cereal with real milk. Love it. And I love scrambled eggs. Fucking love scrambled eggs. Love it. I love Chinese food too much.
Oh,
and Thai
God.
food.
Hell yeah.
And Italian. My number one is a band that, to me, when I think of hardcore, I don't just think of the sound. I don't just think of the lifestyle. I think of the band. I think of the person involved in the band. I think of the front man. What that front man or front woman, doesn't matter. Timing, what the voice they've given to people like me.
Yeah.
To a generation, to those who cannot speak, like the animal life, wildlife. My number one is the most special band as far as hardcore goes. It's the band that makes me get up off my feet. To me, the most chaotic, what exemplifies hardcore as a movement, as a thing. This life that we chose to live is exemplified by my number one. For me, my number one is going to be the self-titled debut from 1988. Drum roll, please.
Oh. Leftover Crack. No.
Close. My number one is going to be the self-titled debut released in 1988 by the Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, oh man. This is hardcore.
It is.
Me. Hardcore, in my opinion. I said it time and time again. You guys already know. Gorilla Biscuits is my favorite New York hardcore band of all time.
Yes.
A big shout out to Start Today, because Start Today is fantastic. Cats and Dogs is fantastic. New Direction is an all-time classic. When you got songs like High Hopes, that bass line, that intro bass line, ew, so fucking good, man.
Totally.
Big Mouth, Hold Your Ground, Finish What You Started, their Buzzcocks cover of Sitting Around at Home, Gorilla Biscuit Power,
Yeah.
Hold Your Ground Again, GM1, GM2, Breaking Free, Finish What You Started, I mentioned, No Reason Why. This, to me, is hardcore punk in a nutshell. This is where anyone, into my head, what is hardcore? This is the one for me. This is one of my favorite fucking bands of all time. Has become, even lately. It's hard to get into the top five, because my top five is pretty set in stone. You guys know who they are.
Right.
I won't say them, but Gorilla Biscuits is starting to come up in the top five. Slowly. Not quite yet, but the more I listen to them now as an adult,
Right.
it just hits even more. These guys, I've met them all. I've met Civ. And shout out to this band, because the original guitar player, who I forget the gentleman's name for the life of me, lost his life a few years ago.
Huh.
Quite a while back in 2008. I think it was it Mark Hayworth? If I remember correct. Bass player. No. Alex Brown is what I meant to say. Alex Brown. He was in a couple really big bands that did not make my list, Project X and Side by Side.
Right.
Really integral member of the New York hardcore scene. Alex Brown was like the rhythm guitarist, if you will. And he lost his life in 2019, I think it was, because of an aneurysm.
Huh.
And it's a damn shame, because this guy, I saw him live with this band back in 2017, just before he kind of slowly drifted away because cancer, his health issues were starting to affect his guitar playing. Dude was a monster, man. Living legend. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but the guys in this band are special. My number one is always going to be my number one. It's that self-titled record by Gorilla Biscuits. They only did this and Start Today. 2 albums to go by. One technically, because this is an EP. But New York hardcore to me is defined by Gorilla Biscuits and self-titled 1988. Sorry to go on for as long as I have. is my number one for that reason.
Okay. I thought they had more than that for some reason. That's interesting.
Yeah, they only have 2 releases, and I mean, that's all you need.
Yeah.
When you're as impactful as you are by the words you say and what you make people feel. Like these guys, yeah, they did no wrong. They're my number one. So
yeah,
that's my number one.
Yeah, like I said, I had to leave them off because I'm not familiar. I didn't have that, so and I got to listen to them. I got to give them the time. Maybe have an episode about them someday because I always sit down and listen to classics I never got around to and talk about them or something. There'll probably be one for sure, but
the studio albums, they're one of those straight edge bands that they're fucking chaotic. They make you want to punt a baby out the window.
The babies have not been safe tonight in the top 5.
They're hard, but they also make you think like, holy shit, he's actually saying something. And
right.
A lot of people criticize hip-hop, but hip-hop is like hardcore punk's little brother.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand. A lot of these guys collaborated with New York, or hip-hop, specifically New York hip-hop artists.
Yeah, that happened, yeah.
You've seen people like Nas wearing Biohazard shirts, Tupac.
Yeah, totally.
Even though he's from the West Coast, but he's technically born in New York.
Right.
Karen collaborated with Sick of It All. The guys in Anthrax, Gotti and SOD, Anthrax, Public Enemy, that whole connection. Madball, Freddie's got his side projects. He raps too, which to a lot of people surprised. To me, it makes sense because
yeah,
a lot of the hip hop sound of the '90s crossed over to these guys. A lot of these bands sound. Because both of those things were happening at the same time, but this was underground.
Yeah, and rap was too,
Rap was too. But this was super underground. Like, if you knew, you knew. You had to go to club shows and things like that. Word of mouth. Before cell phones and shit like that. But fucking zine. Remember zines?
Yes.
Yeah. Printed zines, not online zines. Printed.
Yeah, printing. Tape trading and...
Tape trading.
Which I got to do the end. I caught the tail end of the tape trading era, but...
You caught the tail end?
Oh yeah. I was writing people all over the world and stuff. I traded with a dude in New York a lot, oddly enough. I traded with a chick in Canada, and I traded with this other chick in Belgium. Most often. A bunch of other people hit and miss, but those 3 I kept in touch with for many years, and we traded music for a long time. Sadly lost touch over the years, but that's where I was trading like Mayhem tapes back in the day when that shit was happening, and
that's pretty cool.
All kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s.
And again, I mean, this was a fun list to make because Kenny, like myself, we're into a lot of different things, but we always come back to this because we genuinely love it.
Yeah.
We love the Facebook group. We believe in the Facebook group. We believe in this music. We believe in the movement. It's important. You cannot talk hardcore music without talking about New York hardcore because stuff like this is the reason people think of hardcore of what it is today because of these guys. And they're still going strong. So support them. Continue to support these bands because they live and breathe this shit.
There you
like
go.
Myself.
Yeah, you do. Indeed. We all do. And we only shared 7 albums in the whole 40, so you got like quite a bit out of that. You got like 33 different albums, I think, out of all this. So
definitely a few years worth of music to check out because you're not going to get around to this in a week or in a month because we all listen to it differently. Some of us, like myself, I give bands the three listen treatment.
Yeah.
If the first one doesn't sink in, I'll go back to it another time. If that doesn't sink in, go back to it one last time. And if I don't get it the third time, probably never will. Maybe a few years down the line I will.
Yeah.
That happened with Biohazard.
Yeah, I'll listen a little bit and then I'll maybe give it some years. And like I'm finding now stuff I hadn't listened to since I was like 20. I listen to stuff now and I find I like a lot of it that I didn't. But
right. If I could get back into bands like Typo Negative.
That's having a 20-year gap because I'm old as fuck.
Hey, I'm old and tired too. You know what I mean? 32 is pretty old compared to a lot of teens surrounding me, which makes me feel fucking old. Oh, God. But yeah, this was a fun list. I probably the most important episode to date.
That was a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do this one. It was on my short list of episodes to do.
Definitely my favorite episode I've been a part of, and it's all thanks to Kenny. I want to
cool
thank him
shit.
for this episode with me, for letting me be on, and also for working his ass off, supporting his family. He's got kids. He's got a wife. He's got a home. And he still does this shit. So
I'm still
for you
doing this.
not to show my man Kenny support and push him on, tell him to keep pushing forward.
There you go. Thank you so much, sir.
Kenny. He's probably lost sleep over this shit. That's not an easy
Yes.
He's probably starved doing this shit.
I definitely stayed up till 1 a.m. editing shit, no doubt about that.
Exactly. And works a day job.
And I woke up at 4 to get up to do it again, but
Exactly. I got a day job too, a career in this case. This is about Kenny. This is about the show. This show is gonna keep going because I believe in Kenny.
So,
shout out to Nick too, because Nick Brown, I believe in him too. But
oh yeah, Nick has been huge in the formation of this whole thing. And behind the scenes of all this, Nick has been massive behind this.
And I gotta say, the last thing I'll say between Kenny and I and all the listeners, including Nick, while I've been away from the page for personal reasons, a lot of you guys already know this, but my sister passed away about 1.5 years ago.
Right.
Right. I've been dealing with that shit. I've been taking care of my parents too. Things on the side, balancing my day job, my career, working with paroled children. I work with paroled kids.
Oh wow, that's great.
I work 12-hour shifts sometimes. I work weekends too because of this shit. I got a life too. And while I've been away, Kenny and Nick have been keeping this boat afloat. And the only reason the page and the podcast is doing great is because of these two gentlemen, Kenneth Roy and Nicholas Brown. I'm using their full names because I fucking care. No, honestly, without even joking around, because I'm dead serious. These guys have been keeping this boat afloat. They're the heart and soul of this Facebook group, whether they admit it or not. The only thing I can say is thank you to everyone who's put up with us. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting Kenny, liking the post, sharing the page, commenting, getting into the conversation, because that's what it's about. That's what punk rock is.
I do this because I want to, and then it's been fun to do, and I totally understand where your stuff was coming from. That's just massive. That's life-changing beyond imagination. Your episodes you've been a part of so far have been so great. And this is another one. Can you imagine the fact that we're closing in on a decade of this shit? That's crazy.
That's crazy. And this page started...
That's insane.
And for a lot of you who don't know, because Kenny and I met each other through a different Facebook page.
Yeah.
And this is where I plug in the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
Sure.
Our guys, Ian Wadley and Ralph Fiera, they're the reason this page even exists.
It happened.
Because we wanted to focus on something that was about punk rock, about hardcore music, everything else in between. I added the new wave and synth pop. I added the, all that shit because whether you like it or not, it is a part of it.
It is all the family.
It is all in the family. Everything in between. You asked me 15 years ago, I would have said metal. But I've always been a punk and hardcore fan. Nowadays, I'll take this shit over metal any day of the week. Because it's not just music. It's a way of life.
It is.
You know, those who lived it in the 70s and the 80s, you don't need me. I was born in 1990 to tell you this shit. You know better than I do. The only thing I can do is keep living it. Keep the music alive.
We did it. All right, well, we're going to close it down there because my back's starting to hurt sitting up like this because I'm old, as we mentioned. And
so my knees say up.
New York Hardcore. Go listen to as much of it as you can. And
exactly.
Here is the helpful guide to all of that. The total celebration of one of the greatest scenes this thing's ever had.
Exactly.
There you go. Thank you, sir, so much for joining in.
In the words of Madball, hardcore still lives.
Thank you all. We'll see y'all next time.